We'll be doing the Pacific settlement of disputes. I would ask the previous year questions already. Uh, Firstly, it is important to read the Mavromatis Palestine concessions case. An international dispute is a disagreement on a point of law or fact between two subjects of international law. Subjects मैंने already पढ़ा दिए हैं. Subjects में हम it can be either states, persons or organizations. What are the elements of international dispute? It must be between two or more subjects of international law, of course. It should relate to the matter of international law. It could be a disagreement as to a law or a fact. It should not be capable of being resolved through ordinary diplomatic channels. Right? ये कहाँ लिखा गया था? मार्शल आइलैंड्स वर्सेस रिपब्लिक ऑफ इंडिया केस में. Right. So it is important to understand that what is the elements uh, of an international dispute. टू प्लस सब्जेक्ट्स के बीच में होना चाहिए. आईएल के मैटर में रिलेट होना चाहिए. उनके बीच में डिसएग्रीमेंट एंड फैक्ट होना चाहिए. डिसएग्रीमेंट ऑफ अ फैक्ट और लॉ, ऑफ फैक्ट और लॉ. It should not be capable of being resolved through ordinary diplomatic channels. Ordinary diplomat channels. Right, diplomatic channels. Right. Now, pacific means of dispute settlement क्या होता है हमें ये देखना. It is dispute resolution through pacific means. It is under the UN Charter Article 1 subclause 1. Legal duty of all members to settle their disputes by peaceful means and in a manner that international peace, security, and justice are not endangered. What is the means of pacific settlement? It can be through arbitration, judicial settlement, negotiations, good offices, mediation, conciliation, inquiry, and settlement of disputes under the auspicious United Nations organization. First, arbitration कैसे होगा? The arbitrators are selected by the parties and award is binding upon the parties. यहाँ binding nature होता है, ये हमें ध्यान रखना है. Hague Convention of 1899 provides for international arbitration as a means of settlement of disputes between parties by judges of their own choice and on the basis of respect of law. Respect of law is very important. The convention also led to the establishment of Permanent Court of Arbitration (PCA). Very important. So PCA किसके थ्रू बना? Hague Convention of 1899. Article 33(1) of UN Charter also recognizes arbitration as pacific means. Parties can also appoint their own arbitral tribunal other than the Permanent Court of Arbitration. Advantages क्या क्या है? More suitable for technical disputes. There is freedom to choose the venue as well. There is confidentiality. Parties can not opt to have the award published. It is less expensive. Flexibility to incorporate other means like fact finding. Binding nature of awards makes it more concrete other than mediation, conciliation, etc. Right, so this is the thing. ये एडवांटेज है. ध्यान रखिए कि अगर टेक्निकलिटी ज़्यादा होगी तो जल्दी से उसको हम खत्म कर सकते हैं अगर ये कोर्ट में नहीं जा रहा है तो. देयर इज फ्रीडम टू चूज द वेन्यू एज वेल. देखिए आर्बिट्रेशन में वेन्यू का जो इलास्टिसिटी रहती है वो काफ़ी इजी रहती है. कॉन्फिडेंशियलिटी रहती है, वो बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट है. इट इज लेस एक्सपेंसिव देन आईसीजे एंड द अदर डिस्प्यूट्स इन हैंड. राइट. देन फ्लेक्सिबिलिटी टू इनकॉर्पोरेट अदर मीन्स लाइक फैक्ट फाइंडिंग, वो फ्लेक्सिबिलिटी रहती है. बाइंडिंग रहता है विच इज वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट and in comparison to mediation, conciliation, etc. That is the thing. Judicial settlement. Currently, the International Court of Justice is the only international court dealing with the exclusivity of state disputes. What is the future? Future arbitration और judicial settlement में क्या क्या फर्क है हम ये देखते हैं. The differentiation between the arbitration proceedings and the judicial settlement at the International Court of Justice. So under arbitration, there is no permanent court as such. There is no permanent seat as well. The appointment of judges is through the consent of parties. But in the International Court of Justice, it is fixed. There is a permanent court, there is a permanent seat as well. Public proceedings can be held in camera, and in ICJ it is always public. It's very important to note that. The access of arbitration is to states, individuals, and organizations, and judicial settlement at ICJ is only for the state parties involved. What is the basis of decision in arbitration? The applicability of the rules of international law, as well as the procedural requirements, are not required strictly to be followed upon. But at ICJ, the established principles of international law is involved, and also the concept of ex aequo et bono. Then the existence is derived from the consent of parties. Yes, that is in arbitration, but in ICJ it is not there. There might, for example, the case of South Africa versus Israel. Then strictly legal decisions are not always present in arbitration courts, not always there, but in the International Court of Justice, it is always prevalent. The arbitration is not part of the UN Charter, but the ICJ, the judicial settlement at the International Court of Justice, is under the Article 7 of UN Charter. Now we'll read the concept of forum prorogatum. The principle allows the court to acquire jurisdiction in cases where it did not naturally, if the respondent consents. A second. Yes. Sorry, guys. Yes. If Yes, this principle allows the court to acquire jurisdiction in cases where it did not originally, if the respondent consents to jurisdiction after the proceedings have begun. This consent can be expressed explicitly, or it can be inferred from the respondent's state conduct. It recognized Article 36(1). It is recognized under the Article 36 subclause 1 of the ICJ statute. Corfu Channel case, consent of Albania to the proceedings was obtained by the letter sent to court. Mutual assistance in criminal matters, consent is established by letter sent by France to the International Court of Justice. देखिए, फॉरम प्रोरोगेट का मतलब यही है कि अगर आपके पास जुरिडिक्शन नहीं है explicitly by the state communication, it can be communicated through letters, right, and through other modes of communication as well. That is the whole point of forum prorogatum. Negotiations, much less formal than judicial settlement or arbitration. Negotiations are often used as preliminary means of dispute resolution, failing which other methods are adopted. What are the good offices? When two states are not able to resolve their dispute, a third state may offer its good offices for the same. These offices may be offered by international organizations like African Union or ASEAN. That is the whole point. Like the good offices, कोई स्टेट अपना एक ऑफिस दे सकता है, राइट, और इंटरनेशनल ऑर्गेनाइजेशन भी दे सकती है. दैट इज द होल पॉइंट. It can create an environment that is conducive for the settlement of disputes. Conducive मतलब जहाँ पे हम बैठ के वार्तालाप कर सकते हैं. We can communicate our thoughts in respect to the law or fact which is in question. यूएनएससी के गुड ऑफिसेज हैं इंडोनेशिया, नीदरलैंड्स में. फ्रांस के भी गुड ऑफिसेज हैं, यूएस एंड वियतनाम. जो क्या कहते हैं, एंड हुआ था यूएस और वियतनाम का वॉर, वियतनाम का. तो दैट वाज थ्रू द फ्रेंच गुड ऑफिसेज. Then we come with the concept of mediation. Mediating state or individual not only offers its services but also actively participates in talks to resolve the dispute. Outcomes are non-binding. We have to remember that. Difference between good office and mediation. In case of good offices, the third party simply offers its services or venue. It does not actively participate in the dispute resolution. देखिए, सर्विसेज मिलती है बट एक्टिव पार्टिसिपेशन भी रहती है टू रिजॉल्व द डिस्प्यूट एट द सेम टाइम. Conciliation. अदर पार्टीज ताशकंद एग्रीमेंट में भी देखिए मीडिएशन रहा था, इंडो पाक का जो था, यूएसएसआर की मीडिएशन हुई थी यहाँ पे, इसका ध्यान रखना है हमें। Conciliation. Other states or the impartial persons try to resolve the dispute peacefully through different means. Often the matter is referred to a commission which submits its report and recommends measure for resolution. These are binding on non-parties. Two Hague Conventions made provisions for conciliation commission. कंसिलिएशन का यही है कि इम्पार्शियल पर्सन रहते हैं बीच में और एक डिस्प्यूट को रिजॉल्व करने की कोशिश करते हैं, ठीक है, इम्पार्शियली, कोशिश तो यही रहती है। मोर देन ऑफन ये जो मैटर होता है एक कमीशन को दे दिया जाता है जो अपनी रिपोर्ट सबमिट करता है और रेजोल्यूशन की बात करता है। दैट इज द होल पॉइंट। देन इंक्वायरी, merely a supplementary not independent method. The main objective is to investigate the relevant matter so that established facts which may help the ultimate resolution of the dispute. Inquiry commissions are very commonly set up to resolve border disputes between parties to establish facts on the ground. ठीक है, ये एक इंडिपेंडेंट मेथड है, राइट, इन्वेस्टिगेट करते हैं इसमें कुछ कुछ इंपॉर्टेंट मैटर्स, यही है बस। Settlement under the auspices of UN, GA may make recommendations for pacific settlement of international disputes, which is under Article 14. Chapter 6, which is Article 33 to 38, made provisions for peaceful settlement of international disputes. ठीक है, यूएनएससी की भी वाइड पावर्स है फॉर पैसिफिक सेटलमेंट ऑफ डिस्प्यूट्स, that is the whole point. UNSC is empowered to make recommendations as to a settlement of dispute if requested. That is the whole point. G Resolution of 2625 of 1970 stated that the UN Charter constitute basic principles of international law. It appealed to states to be guided by these principles in their international conduct, to develop their mutual relations and on the strict observance thereof. That is the whole point. ठीक है, यही है कि यूएन चार्टर ये कहता है बेसिक प्रिंसिपल्स ऑफ आईएल बनने चाहिए एंड अपील स्टेट से ये करता है दैट द स्टेट शुड बी गाइडेड बाय इंटरनेशनल कॉन्डक्ट एंड दीज प्रिंसिपल्स एट द सेम टाइम, और इनकी स्ट्रिक्ट ऑब्जर्वेशन रहनी चाहिए। देन वी कम टू द मनीला डिक्लेरेशन ऑफ 1982. It was on the peaceful settlement of international disputes, and it provides that states shall seek in good faith and in spirit of cooperation and early and equitable settlement of their disputes by any of the means mentioned in Article 33(1) of the UN Charter. Neither the existence of its dispute nor the failure of peaceful settlement of disputes shall permit the use of force or threat of or thereof by any state of parties to the dispute. देखिए, अगर डिस्प्यूट सेटल नहीं हो रहा है ना, डिस्प्यूट सेटल नहीं हो रहा है, फिर भी देयर शुड बी नो यूज ऑफ थ्रेट। दैट इज द होल पॉइंट, वी हैव टू रिमेंबर दैट। वही यहाँ पे बात कर रही है, इक्विटेबल सेटलमेंट होनी चाहिए, इक्विटेबल सेटलमेंट प्लस प्लस। कंपल्सिव मीन्स ऑफ डिस्प्यूट सेटलमेंट पे आते हैं। In regular cases, the states are under a duty to avoid threat or use of force against other states. Article 2(4) में लिखा गया, however, they are allowed to use force with the authorization of UNSC under Article 42. मतलब देखिए, अब मनीला डिक्लेरेशन का भी एक एक्सेप्शन आ गया है कि आप कर सकते हो थ्रू आर्टिकल 42 यूज। कोरिया की इंटरवेंशन जो थी, गल्फ वॉर 1990 का था, या लिबिया का 2011 वॉर था, वहां पे ये सब हुआ था। ठीक है, देयर आर 6 टाइप्स व्हिच इज रिटन हियर। फर्स्ट इज रिटॉर्जन। इंटरनेशनल लॉ allows a state to retorsion, that is retaliation in a crux. देखिए, दिस जब एक स्टेट डिसकर्टियस मैनर में बिहेव करे, देन reprisal, it connotes coercive measures adopted by one state against another where the dispute is the result of latter's illegal or unjustified act. Reprisals can be conducted only when the other state commits an international crime. देखिए, रिप्राइजल का मतलब ये है कि थोड़े से कोर्सिव मेजर आप यूज कर सकते हैं, ठीक है, सामने वाले ने अगर कोई इलीगल और अनजस्टिफाइड एक्ट किया है या नहीं। रिटॉर्जन और रिप्राइजल में क्या फर्क है? रिटॉर्जन में एक्शंस होते हैं जो आईएल में परमिटेड है, ठीक है। और रिप्राइजल में इलीगल एक्शंस भी हो सकते हैं जो इंटरनेशनल लॉ में एक्सप्लिसिटली नहीं लिखे गए हैं। Then there is the concept of embargo, then Pacific blockade as well. Ingress or egress of the ports of the states are blockaded as so that the ships of the other states may not reach those ports and the ship of blockade state may not go to the other ports. मतलब आप पैसिफिक ब्लॉकेड इस तरीके से बनाएंगे कि अगर किसी शिप को आपको रोकना है तो आप रोक सकते हैं, अगर डिस्प्यूट सेटल नहीं होता है तो। इंटरवेंशन कैसे होगी वो मैंने आपको ऑलरेडी पढ़ा दी है। Settlement under the auspices of UN, it is under Article 39, Chapter 7 of UN Charter, where UNSC can enjoin coercive measures. It provides for two things: collective intervention or enforcement action, and second, individual and collective self-defense. ये बहुत इजी है, अगर आपको ये नहीं समझ आ रहा है तो आप प्लीज कमेंट में लिखिएगा, ठीक है। टेक्स्ट पूरा आपके पास है, ठीक है। यही लिखा गया है कि दो चीजें हैं, कलेक्टिव इंटरवेंशन हो सकती है, एनफोर्समेंट हो सकती है, या कलेक्टिव सेल्फ डिफेंस के अंदर भी आप सेटलमेंट कर सकते हैं यूएन चार्टर के थ्रू। तो दिस वाज द पैसिफिक सेटलमेंट ऑफ डिस्प्यूट्स। टू टेल मी हाउ आर द वीडियोज इन द कमेंट्स, एंड apart from that, don't forget to like, share and subscribe. Have a great day ahead.